All right, so all right, let's fucking go. What's up, guys? What's going on? It's X-Ray here. Um, I don't particularly relish doing this video. This wasn't even the title or the topic that I wanted to talk about, but here we are. Something just happened as I was about to shoot a video of a different topic, and something happened, and I feel like I have to address it. I, I'm sure, like many others, I have issues. One of the issues I have, or that I have been dealing with recently, is anger. There's no shame in having anger issues. Everybody deals with their fair share of anger. Anger is an emotion that we all have, but there is shame in having anger issues, not knowing how to deal with them, and not trying to suppress them. Letting off some steam can be very healthy at times, but if you let them take control, it's very, very unhealthy. And in my case, I just start screaming like a fucking wild monkey. I completely lose control. I completely lose control. So I'm not particularly I'm not particularly happy with that, but it's just something that I'm facing right now, and it is what it is. So I cooked up a few questions that are gonna are gonna make me self-reflect, and hopefully are gonna help me understand why I feel this way, because I feel like talking about anger issues, is one of the many options you can deal with them instead of just letting all these emotions like just stay inside you, okay? So, a question I have for myself is, what typically triggers my anger? Are these patterns specific to any situations? For the record, I went on ChatGPT and I talked about ChatGPT about my situation, asked him to give me a bunch of self-reflecting questions. Now, to answer that question, what typically triggers my anger? I'm not going to refer to the people in particular. Let's just call him Mr. A and Mrs. B. 95% of these anger outbursts, 99, 100% of these anger outbursts are caused because of Mr. A and Mrs. B, who shall remain nameless. So we could say that these anger issues are to this specific situation. Whenever Mrs. A or Mrs. B won't leave me alone and keep confronting me about certain things, I'm going to lose it eventually. I tend to lose it. In tonight's episode, Mr. A came and saw me, had lengthy talks about three times today. And within the last hour, he came down and just made me feel like an absolute piece of shit. Like, listen, I can deal. I can take shit. All right. I can take shit to a certain extent. I say yes. I accept shit. I eat shit. But at one point, enough is enough. And when Mr. A and Mrs. B just get in my face nonstop, for some reason, they just know how to diffuse me. They know how to make me lose my fucking mind. Sorry for cursing, but I feel like it's necessary here. So you can say that these anger issues are just because of this specific situations. I don't get angry like that with other people. Okay, I don't. Because typically other people, they don't get in your face over and over and over and over again. All right? I'm not going to give you all the details because I don't want to make Mrs. A, Mrs. B's. I don't want to make it obvious to whom they are. But to answer this first question, it's specific to them. They're the only one. They are the only people that can get me riled up like that. And I mean that. Second question. How do I feel in my body when I'm getting angry? What are the signs? Usually, the adrenaline just starts getting at me. My heart will beat faster, and I'm getting a call. I'm going to decline that shit. My heart starts beating faster, and I start losing grasp of my emotions. I just start getting angry. Um, and what happens is I'm not gonna say I see red, but I get really, really, really loud. I don't get violent. I only get violent in self-defense. Let's say I'm getting attacked, I'll get violent. But I just start screaming and shouting like at the top of my lungs. I'm not gonna let anyone say anything. It's like a defense mechanism where I just shout. I shout. You could fucking see the veins popping out of my head, spitting everywhere. Ah! Typically, after an anger outburst, I'll lose my voice, or my voice will get really irritated. I don't have these anger outbursts a lot, but whenever I have them, it's because I've been pushed. Right? Something happened. It means that whomever I told to fuck off they haven't fucked off. They kept coming back and fucking with me when I told them to back off, to get away. So how do I feel in my body when I'm getting angry? What are the signs? The tone of my voice will get louder, louder, louder until like I'm just completely screaming and I absolutely lose control and I can't hear anyone. I'm just shouting shit, shouting shit. I'm not making any sense, but that's what happens. How do I react in the moment? What do I say? What do I wish that I handled differently? Most of the time, if it were with other people, I'd be able to control myself and be like, it's not worth it. But Mrs. A and Mr. B, I'm confronted to these people on a daily basis, unfortunately. So if I could go back in time and switch it, I would tell myself it's not worth it. You're about to give yourself a massive headache. Breathe in, breathe out. But the thing is, with these fuckers, the only way they're gonna get away is if I start shouting and having this outburst. It's like a defense mechanism just to attain peace. Now, it's not the best defense mechanism, but or else, like, you just fucking, are you gonna let the abuse and you're gonna let yourself get abused, like emotionally abused? No, man. Like, at one point, enough is enough, and I need my fucking space. And I just need to be left alone because when you're emotional, you're not rational. So in the moment, I start shouting. I think we made that clear. What do I wish I could handle differently? Man, I wish I could just take a deep breath and be like, it's not worth it. But I have demons. I'm not perfect. I'm working at them. I am working at them. All right. Fourth question. How does my anger affect people I care about? What are their reactions? I've been told that these anger outbursts are scary. I understand that they're scary. And the thing is, with an outburst, it's an outburst. You burst. You're not thinking straight. You lose control. It doesn't affect people in a negative way. I mean, of course, the person that suffers more through these outbursts is me because I don't get violent. But I'm the one that has to self-reflect and go my separate way and think like, oh my God, why did you behave in such a way? Why did you do this? Why did you start shouting like a fucking idiot? So how does it affect people around me? It makes them back off, really. Um, some some other people that are close to me that have to endure these outbursts get really empathetic. empathetic, like they feel for me, um, and they help me, or to get the people that got me there to back off. I won't say that it affects other in a negative way. Of course, it's not a positive way, but the person that suffers the most is me. How do they react? The only person who've been subjugated to my outbursts are immediate people that are close to me, and the way they reacted, there's very understand. Fortunately for me, the person that's most other than Mr. A and Mr. B, the person understands where I come from. Now, does he support the outbursts? No, but he understands that I've been pushed there, and it's not something that I usually do. But when I have to, it's because somebody got me there, right? So usually he'll help me calm down, and he'll leave me alone until I have completely calmed down. Fifth question. Are they underlying emotions beneath my anger? Am I stressed, hurt, or afraid? Of course, I'm stressed. Of course, I'm hurt. Am I afraid? I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm afraid because I'm not afraid. I could. I'm not going to say that, but the people I'm getting angry at are not an immediate threat to me. They're more of a mental threat, not a physical threat at all. It's more of a mental threat. I'm very nervous, and the way I was brought up, you don't share your traumas or you don't share your problems because it'll backfire. Okay, that's just the way I was brought up. Is it healthy? No. Is this the way I'm going to raise my kids or be with my future wife? Absolutely not, because it's not healthy. When you have problems, you should confide in someone. But unfortunately for me, aside from my brothers, there's no one for me to just be open about. So these are the underlying emotions beneath the anger. Stress. I'm going to say anxiety, but most stress induced by Mrs. A and Mr. B. And I'm going to say environmental stress, but I can deal with that. I don't let it take advantage of me. Next question is when I've calmed down, what helps me reflect? How do I feel after the storm passes? Most of the time, I just start breathing frantically, like, and then I calm down, and then I reflect, and then I feel a lot of shame, overwhelming shame. But then I realize that it's human. Okay? I didn't just burst out of the blue. I was pushed there. Somebody kept poking me in the back until I snapped. So when the shame and the guilt passes, I'm like, they had it coming. You keep poking the bear, eventually the bear is gonna maul you. I'm not gonna maul anyone, but it's an analogy, it's a reference. Like, you fuck around, you find out. Like, at a point, enough is enough, man. Like, just stop. What's one thing I wish I had done differently? I wish I could just vanish whenever I'm confronted by Mrs. A and Mrs. B, but unfortunately, I can't. I'm not a superhero. But in the future, give or take 1 to 2, 3 years from now, I will never, ever have to deal with their bullshit ever again. Ever again. Ever again. Because I'll be gone. I'll be gone. I won't be in their vicinity ever. And this brings me a lot of pain. This brings me a lot of pain to say. A lot of pain. I'm gonna wrap this video up. Okay. This wasn't even what I wanted to talk about tonight, but here we are. How can I communicate? Last question is, how can I communicate my frustration before it builds up? What's a healthy outlet I can use? I went to therapy once, and the therapist said, "Listen, when you're confronted to these stressful situation with Mrs. A and Mrs. B, with Mrs. A and Mrs. B, all right, 'cause they're the only one that get me there. Other people I can deal with. I can be like, you don't affect me, whatever. What's a healthy outlet I can use, or it's not an outlet, but what I wanted to say is, I would remove myself from this situation. Okay, I would try to leave, but when someone gets in your face, it's a little hard to leave. And whenever I try to leave, Miss A or Miss B or get me back, come back here, or what's a healthy outlet I can use? I would say honestly, just fucking leaving, removing yourself from this situation. How can I communicate my frustration? Well, I try to. I try to tell him to leave because I'm about to start losing my mind. Ugh, just thinking about this whole outburst I had really gives me a headache. It makes me sick. Listen, I don't know if I was clear, but we all have anger issues. Maybe not all of us, but to those who have anger issues, it's not something to be ashamed about. Find someone, found an outlet, whether it's music, whether it's anything, painting, boxing, gymming, where you could get the steam out, talk about it to someone, close one, loved one. But keeping these emotions inside is not good, man. Do you no good. It's okay to have issues. It's not something to be ashamed about. My name is X Ray, and I have anger issues.